Welcome. I could not be more excited. We are kicking off Nonprofit Power Week, and we have on with us the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Jill Crumbacher. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. It's so great to be back.
I am just thrilled. I said in the green room to you, and I wasn't pulling your leg, I feel like the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is all that's good and right in our sector, meaning your mission is incredible, and the story of your mission and what you do and how you do it is so profound. But how you all orchestrate this tough subject and how you manage yourselves and how you have become such a national, really a global voice for your mission is really something that we can all learn from. And that's why we're working with you this week. It's really exciting, Jill.
Great. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to be talking about modern approaches to partnerships. And this is a changing time. And Jill is the one that really leads this for her organization. So we're going to really get into it and learn from Jill and what she and her team do. We learn every day from our partners. They include Bloomerang, American Nonprofit Academy, Staffing Boutique, Holdings Nonprofit Banking, Interim Executives Academy, Your Part-Time Controller, Fundraisers Friday, and JMT Consulting. I'm Julia C. Patrick, CEO of the American Nonprofit Academy. But more importantly, Jill Crumbacher. Okay, now, Jill, we're going to deal with this later in the week, but you are one of those rare people who navigate the leadership of marketing and development. Can you talk to us briefly about this so that we can understand the framework better?
Absolutely. So yes, here at the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, our marketing and our development practices under one department that I lead. And under me, we have the leadership of a couple individuals. One really drives that awareness portion, the traditional marketing portion, and that's awareness of our cause of foster care adoption, but also awareness and building the brand of the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. And then we have our colleagues on the team who are responsible for getting that revenue in. And a lot of the channels that we use to get revenue in, direct mail, digital fundraising, a lot of those things are marketing tools at the end of the day, and it takes some marketing expertise. And so our departments are combined, and we're one big collaborative family seeking to advance the mission of the foundation, both the awareness and the fundraising. And so I think that's part of the beauty of it is, though you might be assigned to awareness and marketing, or you might be assigned to fundraising, our people, because we have one team, one set of goals together, are very collaborative. If a fundraiser meets someone who really is better at helping us build awareness, they'll toss it over, right? Or work together. So we really enjoy being one collaborative team.
Mm-hmm. I want to point out here, because I think this is one of those misnomers, is that people are like, oh, well, Dave Thomas, it's the Wendy's organization. They don't need to fundraise. They just have piles of money in the back room. Right. And so why we are talking about this is the reality is you all have to fundraise, don't you?
We do. There is no doubt that we get incredible support from the Wendy's company. We have for years. Dave Thomas set it up that way, as that was the for-profit that he started. He started us as a nonprofit, and he sort of linked us together. The Wendy's company still continues to support us. We are their charity of choice. They increase their fundraising year over year. But the truth is, when you are looking at a systemic problem like children without homes, teenagers without homes, in the United States and Canada, it is more than one company can or should fund. It is something that we all need to be a part of. And so we are very grateful recipients of their partnership. But they support us in letting that message go further than them, and in finding others who want to be a part of it.
I love it. I think that's really profound. And I appreciate you kind of level setting everything for us to understand that, because I've got to believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of people think that. A lot of people think, oh, well, shoot, what are they doing with this? Because they don't need to be fundraising. And so I really love that you all understand that you have to communicate that so that you do get that support. So
Right.
let's get into the actual partnership aspect.
Mhm.
I can't imagine how many partnerships you all must manage.
Well, there's a lot. And given we're a combined department, we have different kinds of partnerships, lots and lots and lots. On the marketing side, if I had to put a number to it a year, I don't know. I'm not sure what number you may be thinking, but we're probably around 20 or so purely brand awareness partnerships of varying sizes. There's
Okay.
small ones, there's big ones, there's people that we reach out to, there's people that reach out to us,
Yeah.
right? Perhaps it's someone who's going to be in a pageant and we're the cause that they want to talk about, right? That's a small little partnership. Right. So we range in all sizes, from micro influencers to larger personalities, lots of media partnerships. We have fundraising partnerships where it's not just about fundraising, it's about the brand exchange as well.
Okay.
So at least 20 on the marketing side alone, many more than that if you include fundraising partnerships.
Well, the reason why we're having this conversation is that I was tooling down a part of my community on my way to a meeting in a part of town that I've been born and raised in, but I don't really know this part very well. And I was at a stoplight and I look up and there was a massive, massive billboard that was beautifully done for the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. And I was like, I got all excited. And then I pulled over, jumped out, took a picture of it. I got like super excited to see this huge commitment. And so it just got me thinking about this partnership aspect. You're based in Ohio, I'm based in Phoenix. Somehow your messaging, I'm sure, which was with a national organization, came through loud and clear. And so I really wanted to kind of delve into this because I just think it's absolutely fascinating. And as we mentioned in the green room, incredibly arduous. So let's talk about the use of the MOU, the memo of understanding. I've got to believe that this is one of those starting points for you all.
It is. And we are fortunate to have a legal team that helps us with these things. We've grown that a little bit, but we particularly use a memo of understanding for individuals that want to do some type of brand exchange with us. That might look like someone who wants to have us be in the credits at the end of their movie, right? And so, or there's a social media influencers where we're asking them to do content, for us. That is really where the importance of it, I think, is getting down on paper. It's just not an email where you're like, hey, we'll do this and you'll do that. No. You need down on a piece of paper, you guys are going to do this. We're going to do that. These are the dates involved. These are the responsibilities. These are the rules we have for using our brand and so forth. As you get with larger organizations like the billboards that you were talking about, those are public service announcements. And we have a contract with a vendor that helps get us that space across the country. And it's great. We love hearing about people who see those. That goes into more of a contract than a memo of understanding. We have a little bit of a difference. Memo of understanding is a little less formal, but it works really well to make sure it's a little less scary than a contract, but it is clear that we are agreeing to something. And these are the parts that we're going to play. And it's all down on a piece of paper if there's ever a question about it. So we find them to be very helpful in setting those expectations and giving a little bit of formality around something.
Right. I love that you explain it that way, and I think that that's the beauty of the MOU. You said something really important there, is that it structures everything, but for some reason, psychologically, it seems like it's an easier path to get to a yes and get to agreement.
Right.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
So. Yes, and less intimidating. A contract where there's maybe a financial exchange, there needs to be a contract. If it's more, we want to share what you do, we want to use your logo, we want to talk about what or you'll do this for us and we'll do that for you, and there's not maybe a financial exchange. I think the memo of understanding is tends to be what we go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I appreciate you helping us understand that. Now, the next part is a little interesting because we mentioned this, we were chatting about this in the green room, and that is the financial aspect of partnerships. Over the last 10 years, I have seen more of a clarion call from particularly media companies that want some sort of ad buy. It used to be media companies would basically give away remnant space or space for free, and then they would have an exclusive with that company. I was in the media for 30 years. I know that's what our company did. Now I'm seeing more of a pay to play kind of thing. And I'm wondering if there are more and more financial investments that you are seeing across the landscape with partnerships.
I would say yes. I would say that the free opportunities still exist. You have to do both, I think, is where we are right now. We make sure first and foremost that our what we call a public service announcement, those are the typically the free space that might be for us, billboards, airport space, definitely television, but things like connected TV, TV's changed. We all know it. Radio. We do still distribute and ask for free content, and we still get that content. However, what I'm seeing more of, even just recently, is something called low Bono.
Low Bono, okay.
It's not free, but it's discounted. But they still expect you to pay for it. And so, we track our metrics is this free space or is this advertising buy that we're doing? And we had them very delineated. It was either free or we had to buy the space. Now we're seeing pitches come to us for low Bono instead of pro bono, low Bono. So there's still a cost for it, but it's reduced. And so that has been something that has been really recent. But we do have a healthy ad budget, particularly where we don't see free partnerships as in the digital space.
Right.
That is ad space that we buy. But for the other ones, we're still trying to get as much as people will give us with that interesting sort of new entry of just a discounted rate.
Okay, I got to ask the question. How discounted is it? I mean, is it really significantly?
Yes.
Is it dramatically different?
Yes, as far as what they tell us, but yes, we have accepted a couple proposals recently where it fell into that. And if we were to buy it, it would be so much more. So there is an adjustment that in our view, it is still worth it if you have the budgets to be able to add that on to your, the free media that you might be getting. You should do it. It does seem to be truly at a lower cost that we couldn't buy outright on the market.
Yeah, it's such an interesting aspect, and you have such a behemoth of ad management, free or paid. I mean, the way that you have to do this. I want to remind everybody. You're not just doing this in the US, you're doing this North America. So you also have a Canadian piece of this, right?
Yes, we do. And the Canadian media market is harder. It's a smaller audience overall. And so it's harder to sometimes make the buys pay off. If you're buying nationally in the United States, you're going to reach more folks than if you're buying nationally in Canada, right? So we really try to take advantage of the free items in Canada, but we'll buy as well. But there is that reality. It's true in the digital space as well. It's true even in something like direct mail. It's a bit more expensive per capita, which would make sense.
Right. So fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Well, I really appreciate you walking us through this, because I feel like this is the new dawn, and we all need to be thinking about how this is going to be changing and how we can play a part of this. I want to move on to the multi-year aspect of a partnership. Are you working with organizations that are fearful of making a longer term commitment? And sometimes it's only 3 to 5 years, right? Or are you trying to sew these things up? Like, what's the climate for this right now?
Yeah, I do find still some hesitancy for those longer term things. It's like no one really wants to be able to be tied up that long. And so, and we work with partners year after year after year, and many of those agreements are annual. If there's an agreement to them, again, if there's a paid component. So I do still see hesitancy there, and we tend to find that just allowing it to be organic, that when it's working for both parties, it's going to come again, right? Instead of looking at it and trying to tie it up for a period of time. I think that's really been the key for us, is finding those partners where you just both really want to be in it and your mission aligned. And then that takes some of that out of it, where if it's working, it's going to keep working.
It is, but gosh, it's got to be hard for you when you're having to do your forecasting and you're trying to put this out on a spreadsheet, so to speak. That's got to be dicey.
Yep. Yeah, it can be. I think we all have a general feeling of how those partnerships are going. We are, continue. We are talking. Some of them we're talking a couple of times a year. Some of them we're talking every week. We're very close. And so we know how things are going. They're expressing to us if things are working for them, and vice versa. So I feel like we have a pretty good certainty around if that relationship is good, if they're getting value out of it, if we're getting value out of it, where that helps sort of give us that confidence. We really like to be close to our partners, open with them, and making sure there's a benefit in both directions. So we know and we feel and we can sense if there's not, pretty quickly.
Right. I appreciate that. I think that's what makes you such a well-run organization, is that you figured that out and you really march towards that goal. I want to kind of start. Our time is going by so fast, and I hate that because I have so many questions. But we're going to be spending the week with you, so there are going to be more opportunities. But talk about this protection of a sacred brand. I mean. You have a dicey topic. It shouldn't be, but it can get dicey, which we're going to spend a whole episode on that. How do you sandwich in the protection of your brand, also given that you are tied to the Wendy's corporate, or the Wendy's, I don't want to say corporation, but the Wendy's ecosystem. So you're kind of walking a lot of paths here. How do you protect this brand?
Great question. Yes, we are very cognizant of our partners brand, especially the Wendy's company's partners brand. We share a founder. We share so much of our DNA, and they're so important to us, and I think we're important to them, right? So, first of all, with our own brand, that's where the contracts and the MOUs, and that's where that's really important, because you're laying out, in order to use our logo or to talk about what we're doing together, you have to agree to these things, and we have to have a review. We are reviewing how partners are talking about us. We are editing that language, and we are making sure that we have the rights to do those things. And I find most people pretty respectful of that.
Good.
I really do. And the larger you go with your partnerships, they understand that because they have brands too, right? And so there's that give and take. With the Wendy's company, we guard their brand. We make sure that people aren't talking about them without authorization. We will make sure that if something has happened with the Wendy's company, or there's some dual aspect that needs to be mentioned, that we are respecting the Wendy's brand and we're getting their permissions to do things. We have a very tight relationship with them. But fortunately, we've had a really good brand reputation, even though there, as we'll talk about later this week, there are issues, as with most causes that you can get into. We've been very fortunate to not run into major issues thus far. We had one instance where we had someone really talking negatively about us and trying to dial that up in the social sphere. And what did we do? We called our contacts at Wendy's. We wanted them to know that this was happening, right? We didn't want them to be caught off guard. And that's how you build trust. They know that we're watching. They know that we're aware, and that we're going to clue them into anything that's happening so that they won't be caught by surprise. So I think that's really important. So we've been lucky, but we are very vigilant in protecting our brand and anyone that we work with.
It's absolutely fascinating what you said about, leaning into a problem and acknowledging it, because there's nothing worse than being caught off guard and that sense of, being blindsided, so to speak. But if you kind of understand that this might be on the horizon, then it's easier to deal with all the way around. So that was smart. That's super, super
all
smart.
the way around. And sophisticated brands have lots of their own brand issues, right? It's just the way things are these days. And so they're not surprised by it. And as we grow as a brand, we will have more of it. And so we are growing more sophisticated in our ability to handle that. But absolutely, I think the most important thing is letting your partner know if something is happening, so that they're not caught off guard. They can watch it. They can be aware. That builds trust.
I got to ask this question. It just kind of popped into my head, but do you have a separate kind of marketing stream or communication stream just for your partners that you're telling them like what you're doing and where other folks might be able to see them?
Yes. So we have marketing streams to consumers, right? For our brand, we have marketing streams to child welfare professionals. We have marketing streams to our partners, businesses that partner with us. We have marketing streams to individual consumer donors. We have marketing streams to just people who follow us but aren't donors yet. We have lots of marketing streams that we are channeling. Our marketing calendar is a sophisticated beast of dates of when this is going out and who's getting this message and who's not getting this message, and which list it's going to and who's suppressed from that list this time, right? Because it doesn't make sense for them to get it this time, but they'll get it next time. It's grown in sophistication for sure.
I love it. Well, I think that's got to be part of the magic of having these combined departments, because you all see what's actually happening versus, having that siloed. And again, we're going to spend one whole episode on that this week, because I just feel like it's one of the most exciting examples of a new structure in the nonprofit sector. As we finish up, and we've talked about so many elements that you all manage and that you've thought through, what are some of those things that make a good partnership, that make a strong partnership? What could you identify?
Well, I think for us, if you're dealing with a brand partnership primarily, where it's about awareness, I think what's most important is that you're both in it for the mission. So a lot of our partners, there are nonprofits who've maybe gone off over, after more of the big celebrities or things like that. We went down that road half a way 10 years ago or so, and that just hasn't been, celebrities still as a whole expect to be highly compensated for that, even ones that might have a connection to your cause. So, and so that was disappointing to us, but true. And it's not that even we can't afford it, it's that it hasn't worked well for us when that's the motivation. Rather, we've had some folks more in the celebrity space or other brand partnerships where they are just literally coming into it for the mission because they have passion about it, because they came across someone they knew, or they had some life-changing experience, or they have a personal connection to it, and they just want to lift up your brand. They just want to partner with you. They just want to help you fundraising. Whatever it is, those tend to be the ones, and you have to be patient for them. You have to be patient for those organic ones to rise, but those are the ones that always work the best. You know, buying your way in sometimes, yes, it can get you space and can get you all of that, but at the end of the day, you go further with the ones that are organic. And so we've chosen to be patient for those, maximize those when they come, versus trying to buy our way into some of those. So mission first, I think, has been the most important critical thing for us. But also outside of that, I think things like we've talked about, like the respect for each other's brands, this respect for the things that we each ask for to work together, that good open communication has been those partners that you want to stick with.
I really appreciate you kind of helping us to understand that alignment, because I feel like a lot of brands, for-profit and nonprofit, at this point in time in society, are very drawn to a celebrity endorsement. And I love what you just said, is like, look to the mission first and not just the sizzle. You know,
right? Because we have the sizzle alone, and going after that and working with somebody or an organization or for a reason that's not about the mission, it'll work for a little while, and you might get eyeballs on it, and you might get, but it's not going to be long. It's not going to be enduring. And the magic sort of happens when you're all in it about the mission, because then the energy behind it, the excitement about it, the new and fresh ideas, the pulling other organizations, other people you might know into it, that's where it gets fun, and it really happens. So, you know what, if it worked well, or if we had found that it had worked well, maybe we'd go for it. And it might for other organizations. For ours, for whatever reason, we've just not found it to be worth the spend. And we prefer those organic things, but you do have to be patient and wait for them to come. You can seek them out a little bit, but raising a hand is usually how it comes. Someone comes to us because they're passionate.
I love it. This has just been amazing. Well, as we mentioned, this is Nonprofit Power Week with the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, and we are so honored to have Jill Crumbacher. She's a senior vice president, an incredibly busy woman, because she runs the marketing and development teams at the Dave Thomas Foundation. We're going to get into this as a specific topic on Nonprofit Power Week, because I just feel like you are doing something that so many of us in this sector really need to take a look at. It's as we've said, it's arduous, but it's really special that you all have realized the value of marketing and development as one group. And so super fascinating. Jill Crumbacher, you can learn more about the amazing work that the Dave Thomas Foundation is doing at davethomasfoundation.org. Their policy directives and leadership in foster care and adoption, special needs adoption, funding, respite care, fascinating best places to work concept, the development of how employees can garner support through the adoption process, just like new parents. They've done so many innovative things, and you can learn, again, all about this at the davethomasfoundation.org website. This is going to be a busy week because we have a lot that we're talking about. We've spoken today about the modern approaches to partnerships that the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption takes. We're going to be talking about boosting board engagement with the actual CEO of the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Rita Sorinen. We're going to be talking back with Jill about communications during, let's face it and call it out, a politically charged era. Whether or not you think adoption is politically charged, there's an opportunity there to politically charge it, right?
Oh, yes.
It's shocking, but it's true. So we need to talk about it. Again, the combination of marketing and development. And then what we are going to look at are the trends that go forward in 2026, which is a really interesting way. Rita's going to share her thoughts on the changing nature of philanthropy. And we're really excited to get her vision and view on that. This has been an amazing, amazing kickoff to Nonprofit Power Week. We don't do this very often. It's very few organizations that we work with on a Power Week. And we are here because we have amazing support from Bloomerang, American Nonprofit Academy, Staffing Boutique, Holdings Nonprofit Banking, Interim Executives Academy, Your Part-Time Controller, Fundraisers Friday, and JMT Consulting. Jill, thank you so much for being part of this. As we end each and every episode of the Nonprofit Show, we end with this message, and it goes like this: to stay well so you can do well.